Welcome to Readability. I'm your host, Ashley Kelson. In Readability, we read all kinds of stories, from short storybooks to large chapter books. You could sit down with family or just lay back and relax. Every Saturday, we read, review, and recommend different books for your listening pleasure. I really hope you enjoy Readability. Let's get started. Hi there, it's Ashley, your host here on Readability. I just want to say I hope everyone is doing okay with everything going on in the world. Besides, to look on the bright side, this is a great way to get all of your reading done, so make sure you're washing your hands and being safe, and just stay in your home, and I hope everybody's doing okay. Anyway, for today's episode, I wanted to do a fun review of Saving Winslow by Sharon Creech. This is one of my Battle of the Books books, and I'm excited to share my thoughts with all of you. And speaking of that, let's get on to this week's episode. Saving Winslow is a short story about Louis, a 10-year-old boy who has trouble taking care of young animals, and a pitiful donkey that their Uncle Pete brought over. When Louis first sees it, he's determined to help out the motherless donkey. As always, his parents doubt that the donkey, which Louis named Winslow, would survive very long, knowing how many pets he has had. Keyword, had. But Louis ignores the comments and really tries his best to keep Winslow alive. We follow Louis as he meets new friends and faces some challenges along the way in the short story by Sharon Creech. We also meet Nora, the young sister of Claudine, a pessimistic girl who also agrees that Louis has no chance of letting this donkey survive. She soon reveals her soft side for animals and becomes friends with Louis the more the story goes on. Overall, it's a pretty short and simple story. Sharon is a middle grade author who has written many books before this one, like Walk to Moons and Love Bad Dog. She adds some entertaining parts to this book to make the short story more than just one big, boring plot. Once again, she can make the story short and simple for young readers to easily understand, and that's pretty cool. Saving Winslow is 175 pages long. Altogether, there are 49 chapters, and don't worry, they're really short. This book did not win an award. The author is Sharon Creech, and the publishing brand is HarperCollins Publishers. Out of 5 stars, I would give this book a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Yes, I understand that it doesn't sound like a good rating, but let me explain why I gave this book a 3.5 stars. First off, this story was really short. That means it's not going to be super entertaining, and the characters don't give you a lot of time to learn about them. Second, I thought the story was overall pretty bland, and it didn't have a lot of diversity in it. It was like a pretty simple and short story about a boy and a donkey, and the boy tries to save the donkey by taking care of it, even that, and I wouldn't have been interested if this wasn't a Battle of the Books book. It also has a happy ending and happy feel to it, so that's the good thing about it. It's pretty heartwarming, but the plot is the part that makes me uninterested. I definitely wouldn't think of recommending this book to someone. I personally like thicker books with fun characters and interesting plot, and this book isn't really near those expectations I have. Not like every book I read has to be thick with fun characters and an interesting plot. It's a short read, and it's not the most entertaining story in the world. If someone wanted a short read, let's say, I may consider letting them know about this book and recommending it to them. Here is the highlight section of the podcast. Remember, I am going to make some spoilers, so please be aware of that. Number 1, I think Nora and Louis had a great friendship, and they were fast friends. At first, Nora seems all boring and pessimistic, and even a bit mean, but in the end, she was just preparing for the worst, and overall, I think their friendship was really nice. Number 2, I was really happy that Louis had lots of determination to make Winslow happy and help him survive, regardless of all he's been through. Louis was really kind to him and really did his best to save Winslow. To go along with what I just said, because Louis tried hard to save Winslow and take care of them, he actually succeeded in doing so. It gave the story such a happy ending and made the short story a bit worthwhile. And finally, the character thoughts segment, my favorite. If you didn't know, I love characters. In this story, I'll admit we have some pretty bland characters, but I still wanted to share what I think about the characters in the story. As I mentioned in the highlight section, I was saying how I liked how Nora changed from being more dark and gloomy to a more open and fun character. And I like how characters change and adapt and stuff like that. To say a character I didn't like is actually harder than you think. So I'll have to say no one. Am I allowed to do that? I don't know. But for my favorite character, I'll have to say Claudine, because she was just really nice. And even though she wasn't at all a main character of the story, she was an interesting character to put, and she was just very whimsical and cool, I guess. And to end this off, I just wanted to say thank you, everyone, for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this review of Saving Winslow by Sharon Creech. Have a great day, everybody, and here is our official readability ending. Thank you for joining me, your host, Ashley Kelson, on Readability. It has been a really great time, and I hope you join me again next week. Remember, every Saturday we either read, review, or recommend a book for your listening pleasure. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Keep reading, folks. Bye!